Lies, love, death, fate again. Genesis flinched, withdrawing further into the blanket. She wanted to scream, but she was afraid it would break further and swallow her. A tentative breath. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3. The waiting room was solid again, seamless. She squeezed her eyes shut, then opened them. Still the same, still pristine, still a closet. It was shock, a hallucination, fatigue and fear, a nightmare stalking her. Was she awake? Was this a dream? She pinched her arm. Ouch! Awake. But had she dreamed it? Hadn't she? Before she could decide, the door hissed open. Genesis jerked, her head snapping toward the stranger. A woman, tall and severe, stepped inside. The sharp click, click, click of her heels cut through the silence, a metronome, each step precise, measured, controlled. Her hair, red as fresh blood, was pulled into a sleek ponytail. Dark, angular glasses perched on her nose, framing eyes that cut through the room with clinical efficiency. She was flawless, deliberate, sharp as the edge of a scalpel. The woman crossed the room, the door hissing closed behind her, red leather jacket catching the artificial glow of the walls. Genesis knew her. A memory rose, smoke, heat, the taste of ash clogging her throat, poison curling through her veins, pain, agony. It had been burning, everything was burning. She was trapped, dying, waiting to die. There's a girl alive down here. She could hear the woman's voice clear through the chaos, dragging her back from the brink. Reynolds, Taylor, get down here now. One of them has survived. Bring bolt cutters. The paramedics this morning had called it a miracle, a statistical impossibility, a fluke. They spoke about it as if Genesis had slipped through the fingers of fate last night. Now, standing before her, Cassandra looked anything but a savior. You look exhausted, the woman observed, her words like static. Genesis could feel them dancing across her skin. She barely spoke, quieter than the night before, almost a whisper, distracted. Understandable. Genesis swallowed, feeling the weight of her own fatigue suddenly pressing down on her, smothering, suffocating. She didn't like the way Cassandra was looking at her. It wasn't concern or empathy, it was scrutiny. Because I'm disgusting, fraying, fracturing. Her eyes flickered to the wall. Cassandra placed a paper cup on the table, just slightly closer to Genesis than the center. Just one. Genesis stared at the curling steam, the warm, bitter scent of coffee filling the small space, like grasping tendrils. Hold it together. The moment stretched uncomfortably. Cassandra didn't gesture toward the chair, didn't ask permission. She simply dragged the chair back, slow, deliberate, then shrugged off her jacket, draping it carefully over the chair, then smoothed her skirt and sat. Every inch of her was curated, efficient, precise, poised. Genesis fought the urge to squirm as a nagging realization gripped her. She was painfully out of place, astray, scooped from filth. Cassandra's red lips curved. Not a smile, exactly. No, something grim. I assume my team managed to find clothes for you? Genesis nodded once, barely moving. Good. Silence. Genesis hesitated, then reached for the coffee. She half expected that she would stop her. She didn't. The cup was warm against her fingers. A simple, real thing in a room that felt fabricated. Her eyes glanced to the wall, checking. Solid. She lifted it to her lips, took a cautious sip, bitter. Her face twisted slightly. Cassandra noticed, her lips pursed in amusement. Not to your taste. Her brow arched in question. Genesis set the cup down. She didn't answer. Cassandra folded her hands atop the table, her gaze never leaving Genesis. The pause stretched. Longer. Longer. Genesis's fingers twitched. You shouldn't exist. The words landed without emotion, sharp, stinging, a fact.